Welcome to meet the photographers and the artists of the Festival of Political Photography 2024. This year marks the sixth edition of the festival, and the festival was founded 10 years ago in 2014 in Helsinki, where it's still based on. The theme of this year's festival is diagnosis. My name is Iiri Poteri. I'm a visual artist, and then I also work for the communication of the festival this year. And next, it's my pleasure to talk with the visual artist Phan Nguyen, whose project and exhibition ManiQueer is part of the Festival of Political Photography 2024. Hi, Phan.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, it's my pleasure. For the beginning, would you like to introduce yourself and tell a bit about the topics and methods that you work with your art?
Yeah, so I'm a Vietnamese visual artist and I work primarily with lens-based media, so including photography, video, and also performance as a tool and result for my artistic research. And my situated experiences within several social political issues has informed me a lot in my practice and in my interest, how I interact with certain subject that I work with. And this include like state of belonging, otherness, queer identity, and individual and collective memories. So my work is often autobiographical, and I like to examine these situations or events that would otherwise be obscured within the dominant culture, and I'm telling this through my personal experiences, through my reflection on the social political issues and engagement with my communities. Yeah,
Hey,
to
yeah,
sum it up. Yeah.
yeah, that's a great introduction. Then we could go a bit more precisely for your work, ManiQueer. That is a
Yeah.
multimedia installation that has a form of a nail salon, and it offers a safe space for queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color people. It is a space for one-to-one performances where you reenact nail salon work. And it is also an installation of photographs and video that documents the performances that are happened or maybe already and also will happen in the space, and a personal archive. How did you got interested of a form of a nail salon as a part of your art project? And you can also correct me if I made the introduction well, because I only have read about the piece, but I haven't seen it.
Thank you for the question. Yes, so I have started out researching about the nail salon practice, which is this common and specific practice to the Vietnamese diaspora. And it first started in my mini residency with Urban APA in the earlier spring in 2023. And it is a work that is the nail salon is a common strategy for resilience and survival for the majority of first generation Vietnamese immigrants in the West. So it provides this financial security that enables a lot of class mobility for many families here. And while being this like security or sanctuary for the Vietnamese immigrants, it's also like expose their worker to racial microaggressions, for example. And I know about this story also from my aunt who owned a nail salon for 20 years in Germany. And I was like, before I was like distancing myself from this line of work because without the understanding that I was going through some shame and internalized racism that I had at the time. So I really want to reclaim this space and then reappropriate it for my chosen community of other racialized queer migrants. And yeah, and that's how it all started. as a performance in the gallery space in Utuolo. And then after that, I was trying to interweave these documentations with my personal archives to tell different stories within the space, and then bring it here to the exhibition.
Can I ask if the background is with also that your aunt has made this work? Has your aunt seen your performance or the work, and what they thought about it?
Yeah, I talked to her about it, and I was telling how I approached this issue, and she feel like really happy about it. And I hope that I can show her more, or like have her to be part of the project as well. But it's also difficult because we have mostly communicated online, and but I would love to like visit her in person, and then we can do this.
That's great. Then we could go a bit for the audience of this piece. And actually, I will also, when I ask about your aunt, I'm also curious that when it was shown as a part of Urban APA in Kallio, did you have visitors who are working as like nail workers or doing that kind of job? Because in Kallio there might be like also this kind of saloons.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't have any participant that is a nail worker, because also the project happened and was not like really like promoted at the time so well, and I didn't reach like a lot of people with that project when it was starting. So I really hope that I can also like do this
Mm.
um, in the future and get more audience and participants for the project. But
Yeah.
yeah, but nail salon space is primarily created for queer, trans, BIPOC people,
Mm.
because it's intended for part of my artistic research. And this with this limitation, I want to challenge this notion of who has access to care and who has access to art and culture in general. However, this exhibition space stays open to the public.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Okay,
so I want
so
to tell can reach a wider audience. Yeah.
anyone can take part of the performance also, not only QTBIPOC people. Did I understand
No,
right?
only the queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color are the main participants in
Of the
my
performance?
next performance. Yeah, because yeah, and then I collect their stories and my stories as well, and then deliver them or like telling them to a wider audience through the exhibitions. So with the performance, it was only intended for a selective audience.
Okay, yeah. And did I understood right that there might be also performance in the festival now when you are presenting the ManiQueer in the Finnish photography museum?
Yeah, I'm planning to have the performance, but it would take a different form in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do you wish that people will find in your exhibition when they visit and see it? Is there something that you would wish that would transmit through your work?
I really want it to also be inspirational and also like educational as well, because I want to show these different trajectories and ways of seeing and making space for pluralities in the ways we be in ourselves, especially as like queer people of color. So that is why like I want these stories to like be known and have their stories being heard by a wider public.
Yeah, great. Then we could go for the theme of the festival, which is diagnosis. Um, in this festival, diagnosis is seen in two waves, that it can be kind of closing doors, restrict like someone's life, or then give care and acceptance. It has these two ways of that it can be taught. As your work is a lot about care, what do you think about the diagnosis relation to care?
Yeah, this is such a nice question, and I really like the theme of the festival this year about diagnosis because, like, I can also see that, like, historically, many like medical advances were made to not only to improve the health of people, but also like they were used as a social experiment tool, like to exert control over a group of population. And then they can also be like perpetuating different assumptions of normalcy. So yeah, like contraceptives, for example, they were intended to like control women's sexualities. And the same with conversion therapy, how it was developed and still like being used in certain part of the world today is very scary. And I think we really need to um, critically look at how these diagnoses were created and who created them and who do they serve. And yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And also like most often they were made to maintain this cis hetero patriarchal ideologies that position these cis straight white males as superior and normal. So in relation to my project, I also question this ideal of care and the labor of care as well, and how care is commodified into something that can only be afforded by people with privileges. And I think this resonate quite well also with the current political situation in Finland. And I really want to subvert this and prioritizing care for people like myself, and especially this ManiQueer as an act of care and caregiving. And yeah, and most of the people participant in my nail salon, it was like their first time to get a manicure. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's and I also think it's really interesting to think about that. Okay, um, if it's really restricted who can get care in a medical kind of healthcare system,
Mm,
then where like what kind of places or like communities can provide care for people who doesn't find it from healthcare system. Like,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. And what do you think that art can be that kind of a space? That art
Mm,
could also give that kind of care that people would also look for. That this is just a spontaneous idea from myself.
mm.
That maybe.
Yeah, I think for sure art can enable this kind of ideas and giving space to care for people as well. And this is especially like something I was like thinking about when I started the project, that okay, I have this gallery space here and how I can make it like more engaging to this group of people that don't usually have access to like care or to like arts spaces in general because they don't have time for this, or like they don't live in the neighborhood that has this kind of spaces that they can just walk by and then come in like yeah, like randomly.
Mm,
So yeah, so I think art is has an important role in this, and like the way we look at this, the whole like industry as well, and like how it can be reconfigured to serve the communities as well is
mm,
what really like also on my mind. Yeah.
yeah. Then also came to my find that normally when I think about nail salons, I'm thinking that it's something luxurious or something something extra for. But then I think it's really nice that you are turning it something else, that maybe actually it's a moment of coming together or sharing, and that it's not so much maybe, or you can correct me, that it's not so much about the nail art or like as in a superficial level, but it's more about the moment being with intimate contact with someone.
Yeah, it's a lot about the intimacy created and the trust being built during this whole process. And also like nail art is I think it's also uh, like a good way to be like a good part of the project as well, because in a way there's certain assumptions associated with like having nails, like beautiful nails, and it's like have certain kind of like gender roles that attach to it, for example, and the way that people like look at it and like experience with this, like it also like I'm trying to like make it not like limited into just how it's being seen, or like having it as a way to experience with gender expression, for example. So I think in a way nail art is very queer in itself.
Yeah. Okay. Then I would like to ask about what are your expectations when you show this work now in museum space? That last time it was in Kallio, which is more having a history as a working class area in Helsinki, Finland. That uh, do you have a kind of expectations or wishes about that? How your work would be? Yeah. Is it different this time for you?
Mm, mm, I think I also like mentioned a little bit about this earlier, that it was important for me that the project started at Kallio and in this gallery space because of the history of the neighborhood as this very multi-sexualities and with diversity of classes and minority businesses. They all like started from there, or like a lot of the businesses of immigrant were like there in the past. So I would like to also like question this role of art spaces in gentrification and how it can engage more with the people from the community. And with the project being shown in the museum and as part of the festival as well, I want these stories to be told to the wider public, and hopefully like it would allow the project to grow and continue, and more Black, Indigenous, people of color, queer, and trans people can visit my future nail salons
Hmm.
and have it like more in different spaces after the exhibition.
Yeah, do you have like wishes where you would like to take this performance? Like, would you like to take it outside of Finland, for example?
In similar context, yes, for sure. I would love to like doing it with other community as well. But yeah, for now, I haven't like thought that far, but that would be a great idea, because also like the Vietnamese diaspora with the neo culture is not very visible in Finland, but like outside of Finland, like in Germany, in the US, or in France, it's very like prominent.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so too, that it would be great to travel with this work in a different
Yeah,
place. Mm,
yeah.
then I have a one last question, that if there is something that you want to add about your work, ManiQueer, that didn't came up and you find important.
Mm, Not that on my mind at the moment. I think I cover quite, yeah, most of the things
Yeah,
that about the project. Yeah,
that's great.
and thank you for such nice questions.
Yeah, it was really nice to talk, and I will just add here that for people who are watching this, that your work is in the museum in the 0th floor in the gallery space, not in the PVF like diagnosis exhibition space, but it's in a 0 level that people will find
Yeah,
it.
thank
Okay,
you.
I will thank you for the interview and.
Yes, thank you so much for this